Okay, in this video, we'll discuss nerve supply to the forelimb. As we all know, nerve supply to the forelimb is by the brachial plexus, which is formed by the fusion of ventral primary branches of C6, C7, C8, T1, and T2. Here, you can see the bundle of nerve fibers here. The bundle of nerve fibers which emerge between the dorsal and the ventral scarini, and they supply to the forelimb as well as the lateral thoracic wall. So, the nerves which come under the brachial plexus, I'll just try to list each and every nerve here. The first one, what you are seeing is the suprascapular. The first one, what you are seeing is the suprascapular. And if you remember the muscles, this is the medial aspect of the shoulder region. This is the medial aspect of the shoulder region. The anterior most muscle here, this is supraspinatus. So supraspinatus, though it is a muscle on the lateral aspect of the shoulder, that can be seen clearly on the medial aspect as well. So this particular nerve, that is the suprascapular nerve, it passes between the brachialis, subscapularis and the supraspinatus. So suprascapular nerve, it passes between the supraspinatus as well as between the subscapularis here. So once it passes through the this particular supraspinatus, it reaches the lateral aspect here, and it runs below the acromion process, and any damage to the acromion process will result in the damage to the suprascapular nerve and resulting what is known as shoulder spinae, which we have already discussed. Okay, so coming to the next nerve, the next nerve of the brachial plexus is otherwise here the pectoral nerve. You can see these are the pectoral muscles. So one is the deep pectoral, the smaller one is the superficial pectoral, and you can see the nerve fibers here running all the supplying to both the superficial and the deep pectoral. Actually, they call it as cranial and caudal, but don't worry about all those things. Just remember, pectorals, it is the nerve which supplies to the pectorals. Okay, it is a pectoral nerve. And the next important nerve is subscapular nerve. So this is the suprascapular, and here you can see the subscapular nerve. Okay. So there are three heads of subscapularis. Usually you will get the three nerve endings here. Otherwise, three nerve tracks will be there. But here we are getting only two here. So this is the subscapular nerve supplying to the subscapularis. And the next nerve is axillary nerve. This one here. Axillary nerve, which runs between the teres major. Please remember, this is the teres major, subscapularis, as well as this is the supraspinatus. And these are the muscles, parts of the rhomboideus or even the serratus ventralis, cervicis, and thoracis. Don't worry about them right now. So here the supraspinatus, subscapularis, and teres major. Between the teres major and the subscapularis, you are getting a nerve fiber here, nerve bundle, and this nerve is the axillary nerve. This axillary nerve, it passes in the axillary region. It supplies to the muscles which are nearby, which we have already listed out. So I am not listing them again. And here, again, it reaches the lateral aspect here, and it supplies to the deltoideus. After supplying to the deltoideus, the same nerve here, it continues further down, and it gives cranial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. Okay, it is not here. You have to imagine sometimes. So it is the cranial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. Not this is a branch of a radial, okay, don't confuse. So this is here. So this is the branch of the axillary nerve, which further continues as cranial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. To continue, the next nerve in the brachial plexus is thoracodorsal here. So it is very easy to identify as it supplies to latissimus dorsi. So latissimus dorsi, it's a fan-shaped muscle which is located on the lateral aspect of the thorax, and this is a thoracodorsal nerve. Usually it will be accompanied by thoracodorsal artery also. It will be accompanied by the thoracodorsal artery that we'll discuss later. Let me finish up the nerves first. So this is a thoracodorsal nerve, and this is the subscapular, and you can see the axillary here. After that, and you should remember, we won't get two nerves here. So one is the long thoracic, another one is the lateral thoracic. Okay. One will be supplying to the serratus ventralis thoracis, another will be supplying to the cutaneous trunci. Okay. Apart from that, the rest will be here. And the next one is, after that, the next one will be, here. See, this is a combination of ulnar. Median, and musculocutaneous. Okay, this is a combination of, please remember, one which is going over the ulna is the ulnar, and you can see the small branches here. This is the proximal branch and the distal branch. They are the branches of the musculocutaneous, and the next parent or the major branch which is running down is the median one. So median, ulnar, as well as the musculocutaneous. Here, what you should know is, you can see here, so this is the axillary artery here. This is the axillary artery. See, axillary artery, it is passing in a loop here. Okay. Can you able to make out? This is the loop. This is the loop through which axillary artery is passing. That loop, see, this particular nerve here and this particular nerve. One is the musculocutaneous, another one is the median. So they form a loop through which the axillary artery will be entering or passing through. What is known as ansa axillaris. So ansa axillaris, it is mainly formed by the musculocutaneous as well as the median nerve. So coming to these nerves first. So as I told you, all the three will be together. So which are the three? Ulnar, median, as well as the musculocutaneous. This musculocutaneous has got two branches. The first one is the proximal branch here. First one is the proximal branch, which runs below the coracobrachialis. So this is the coracobrachialis muscle, which is present on the medial aspect from the coracoid process of the scapula. It runs down here in the arm region. So the proximal branch of the musculocutaneous, it runs down the coracobrachialis here, and finally it terminates in biceps brachii. So this is the biceps brachii here, which we have already transected. So this particular nerve is the proximal branch of musculocutaneous, and this particular nerve will be accompanied by a branch artery. So that is the cranial circumflex humeral artery. Okay, that is the first branch of the brachial artery, or sometimes they call it as the last branch of the axillary artery. Well, you just remember this is the cranial circumflex humeral artery, which accompanies the proximal branch of musculocutaneous, and finally these two, they run below the coracobrachialis and they end up in biceps brachii. Okay, so coming to the next branch of the musculocutaneous here. So next branch of the musculocutaneous is the distal branch. Distal branch, which is given in the distal 1/3 of the arm region. Again, it also supplies to the biceps brachii. After supplying this, you can see the continuation of the musculocutaneous here. After supplying to the biceps brachii, the continuation of the musculocutaneous here, and this continuation of the distal branch of the musculocutaneous, we call it as medial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. So musculocutaneous nerve, after the distal branch, after supplying to the biceps brachii, it continues further down here. You can see it is continuing further down here. Hope I am very clear here. It is continuing further down. See, it supplies to the medial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. It is also known as medial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. So what we have saw was from the axillary we saw the cranial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. From the musculocutaneous, now we are getting the medial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. So that is about the musculocutaneous. Musculocutaneous, it is always accompanied by the median and ulnar. Otherwise, majorly it is in relation with the median nerve. The proximal branch and the distal both will be supplying to the biceps brachii, whereas the proximal one, it runs below the coracobrachialis and ends up in the biceps brachii. Distal one, after supplying to the biceps brachii, it continues as medial cutaneous antebrachial nerve. Please remember. Okay. So coming to another small branch of this particular group is the ulnar nerve here. Ulnar nerve, it leaves the company. It will be on the caudal aspect of the median. It leaves the company of the median nerve on almost in the middle half of the arm region. It runs over and it supplies to the flexors. Okay, it supplies to the flexors here. To repeat, the flexors which are here, this is the pronator teres, the vestigial one, flexor carpi radialis, flexor carpi ulnaris. Then we have the superficial distal flexor, two heads. Then we have the deep distal flexors, which we have already covered. And this particular ulnar nerve, it runs below the the flexor carpi ulnaris. Flexor carpi ulnaris will be having two heads of origin, one from the ulnar region, one will be from the that is here, the humeral region here. So before actually, see, you can see there is a small fiber which is already cut here. Before it enters the flexor carpi ulnaris, it leaves a small branch, maybe somewhere here. Yes, yeah, here it is. It gives a small twigs actually. It is not a single. There will be several branches will be there. You can see. So this particular branch is the caudal cutaneous antebrachial nerve. So ulnar nerve, before it enters the flexor carpi ulnaris, it leaves a branch, what is known as caudal cutaneous antebrachial nerve. So caudal cutaneous antebrachial nerve, it is a branch of the ulnar. So ulnar nerve, which leaves the company of the median nerve, it enters into between the two heads of the flexor carpi ulnaris, and the major nerve, which supplies to all the flexors. And if you remember, it reaches up to the digits. Okay, it reaches up to the digits. And the branch from this, before entering this, is the caudal cutaneous antebrachial nerve. So coming to the median nerve now. So median nerve, as I told you, it is a big boss in these three, along with the musculocutaneous as well as the ulnar. So after detaching these two branches, after the separation from the musculocutaneous as well as the ulnar, the median nerve, it reaches the forearm region, where it detaches several branches. It is detaching several branches to the flexors, and these several branches are the muscular branches. All put together, we call it as deep antebrachial branches. Okay, These branches we call it as deep antebrachial branches. After giving the branches, the median nerve, it just continues further down in the ulnar canal, that is, sorry, carpal canal. Okay, so it continues further down, and it is supplied to the digits. Okay, and we are not discussing in detail about the digital nerve supply here. Otherwise, just remember the median nerve, it also reaches up to the digits. Among the brachial flexors, only three nerves they reach up to the digits. One is the radial, median, and the ulnar. Okay, so coming to the major important one in the brachial flexus is radial nerve. So radial nerve, it is the biggest or the thickest nerve in the brachial plexus. This is the biggest or the thickest in the brachial plexus. Once it is formed, it supplies to all the heads of triceps. So what you are seeing here is the long head of triceps, and this is the medial head of triceps, and this is tensor fascia antebrachii, and it also supplied to the lateral head of triceps also. This is the lateral head of triceps. So just to refresh your knowledge, this is supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and two heads of deltoideus, and long head of triceps, lateral head of triceps, and see, this is the your teres minor here. Okay, in infraspinatus, below that will be the teres minor. Okay, so apart from that, so let us discuss the radial nerve now. So radial nerve, which is the thickest among the brachial plexus nerves, it supplies to all the triceps here. Then it reaches the lateral aspect. It reaches the lateral aspect, wherein it runs over the brachialis here. It is running over the brachialis. It is running over the brachialis, and at the brachialis, it divides into two branches. One is the proximal branch here, one which is already cut here. This is the proximal branch. Okay, and you can see there is one more branch which is running below the origin of extensor carpi radialis. To repeat again, the extensors which are present on the forearm region: extensor carpi radialis, medial distal extensor, common distal extensor, lateral distal extensor, and ulnaris lateralis, which is a misplaced flexor. Got it? So the radial nerve, after supplying to all the heads of triceps, including the tensor fascia antebrachii, radial nerve, after supplying to all the heads of the triceps, including the tensor fascia antebrachii, it runs over the brachialis in the musculospiral groove, and it detaches its superficial part as well as the deep part. So the superficial part, it runs over the brachialis, and it actually supplies to all the it runs over the brachialis. Runs over the brachialis in front of the forearm region, and it reaches the digits here. Okay, it reaches the digits, and the deep part of the radial nerve, it supplies to all the extensors. So all the extensors, they are supplied by the radial nerve. Please remember, and you can see this is the deep part of the deep branch or the deep part of the radial nerve. Okay, this is the deep branch, and this is the superficial part of the radial nerve, and the main radial nerve, it will be supplying to all the extensors here, all the extensors of the elbow joint, and finally the extensors of the forearm region, they are supplied by the deeper branch, and the superficial branch which runs that is the cranial aspect, it also detaches that is the antebrachial nerve, what is known as lateral cutaneous antebrachial nerve, on the craniolateral aspect in fact. So it is also known as lateral cutaneous antebrachial nerve. Okay, in case of dogs especially, this particular nerve will be in very close relation to the cephalic vein. So whenever you are giving injections, that is intravenous injections to the cephalic vein, you are likely to damage the superficial division of the radial nerve. So you have to take care. Otherwise, just to revise the muscles here: extensor carpi radialis, medial, common, lateral distal extensor, ulnaris lateralis, and you can see this is extensor carpi obliquus here, and you can see the tendons here, extensor carpi obliquus, which is running obliquely over the extensor carpi radialis. Okay, so this is about the nerve supply to the forelimb.